Hi everyone, welcome back to BlackBerry Store. Today I want to cover off two things. I'm going to review two different BlackBerry applications for you, both for playing and subscribing to your favourite podcasts. I've picked two podcast applications in particular. I have both of them and use them both. And the reason I've picked these two out is I feel I've picked the best paid for application and the best free one as well. I'll talk to you about the benefits and drawbacks of each. Then I'm going to go through a step-by-step guide how you can get either app on your BlackBerry and start subscribing and listening to your favourite podcasts. Okay, let's have a quick look at the paid app first. It's called BPod Podcast Manager by Nowhere. First of all, it's had over 350 fantastic reviews, averaging 5 stars on BlackBerry World. It's very easy to download and use, as you're about to find out. So you can stream without download. That's important to some people. If you can't have a media card and you don't want to jam up what little storage space you have, you can listen to the podcast across Wi-Fi without actually downloading it, which is good for storage on your handset. You can choose Wi-Fi only, just so if, for whatever reason you're out of a Wi-Fi zone, you don't want to use your SIM card to pull that data down. You can subscribe with RRS feeds, which I'll show you shortly. You can get automatic download, so if one of the authors you listen to, or one of the shows that you listen to, let's say for instance releases an episode every week, as soon as it's available, if you're in a Wi-Fi zone, it'll come straight down onto your handset. And also got large buttons on this particular app, which is great if you're on the train or you're sat in traffic and you're trying to switch a different episode on. It's great to have the big buttons, it makes life easy. So the only drawback with BPod is the cost, which is very minimal anyway. Okay, Podcast to Go by Thomas. This is the beta version, which just means that it's new and it's not thoroughly tested. However, it is free and there's over 180 positive 4-star review averages so far. I have this on my BlackBerry Classic. It works really well. It hasn't caused any problems. I found it very easy to download and use, and it does run fast on my handset. It's very quick to respond to any instructions. So I suppose the only drawback with having a beta version is it just hasn't had that thorough testing as yet. Okay, so if cost is no concern to you and you're an avid podcast listener, then I would go for BPod. If you're not a big podcast listener and it's something you want to try out to see if it's something that you can benefit from, try Podcast to Go and see what you think. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is run through a step-by-step process how to download and use BPod. So on your BlackBerry handset, you can go to the icon BlackBerry World. Now, just before I click onto the next slide, I'm going to assume you already have a BlackBerry ID. If you click onto this icon and it asks you to sign in or sign up, it just means you need to have an account on there. Now, most BlackBerry users will have one anyway. So once you go into BlackBerry World, sign in, and you should be brought to a screen similar to this, and at the bottom you'll see a big search button you can click on. So click onto search, and in the top bar there, just type in the word podcast. You'll get quite a lot of different results, 60 plus. And then as you scroll through the list, you'll see Podcast to Go, which is there with 4 stars and it's free. And the next one, if you keep scrolling, you'll get to BPod Podcast Manager, and you got your 5-star review there. So let's click on BPod Podcast Manager. And in here, it'll either say download if you have an automatic chargeable account with BlackBerry World, or it might have a dollar value in there that you'll have to pay when you order. Either way, if you can click onto that. If you just want to follow these steps at the moment to get all the way through, but you don't want to buy BPod, just click back of screen, go back to Podcast to Go, and follow all the same instructions that I'm about to go through. So I'll just give you a second to do that. So we'll click on the download button. Once it's downloaded, it'll then say open, and you'll go straight into the app. Now you can also get the app. It will now be amongst all your other applications and icons on your BlackBerry screen. But the next step for us now is to search for a podcast you would like to listen to. So the first step, right at the bottom of the screen here, is we're going to click open on these little three lines, so our draw icon. Then this menu here is going to pop up, and we can click on subscribe. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to search for whichever podcast you like to listen to. So you've got some choices. You can just type in a search. So I've typed in James Schramko because I listen to his podcasts. An RSS feed, if you know the actual download link where the podcasts come from. You can look at the top podcasts, or you can click on browse to go through more of a menu where you can go through different genres and pick whatever you fancy. So let's assume you know what you want to listen to. Type it in here, and then as you can see, there's several options come up below with James Schramko in it, and the one I listen to is his Super Fast Business podcast. So I would click onto that one, and now it says it's updating the podcast channel, it's downloading the feed. This only takes a few seconds or so. After that, in my podcast subscriptions, I can now see Super Fast Business with James. I've also got Better Homes and Gardens, and I've got a marketing podcast from a guy in America. Okay, so I'll click on to Super Fast Business, and then it brings me to a list of episodes. So James has produced over 200 episodes, and I would scroll down to the one I wanted, and it's this one here, Get More Rest. At the moment, you'll see at the bottom it says not downloaded yet, so I'm going to click on the screen. Now it's downloading. Doesn't take very long, especially if you're on Wi-Fi, just maybe 10 seconds or so. Depends obviously on the length of the podcast. Now it tells me download complete, and I can see that down here as well. So now simply to listen to that, I just click onto the screen. Here's the episode that I've downloaded, and it's now in my player. So if I click on this one, it will automatically begin to play. At the bottom, you've got other basic tools such as go back to the previous, go to the next. You can click on the draw icon, and you can go and repeat some of the steps we've just gone through to gather extra episodes. You can go back to the search facility and find someone else that you'd like to listen to. And you can go through the options where you can set up your episodes to come down automatically. So if there's someone that does regular episodes like James does, I like to listen to pretty much all of his. So I have them set up to download automatically. I hope you found that helpful, and I hope you found it easy. If you did find it helpful, please share this content for me, whether you're on the blog or you're on YouTube or wherever you might find it. If you have found it through Twitter, if you could please mark it as a favorite and retweet it for me, that would be fantastic. I'd be very grateful. And if you're on our YouTube channel, please subscribe. All the videos that we produce are designed to be very, very helpful. We try to help Australian business users get as much as they can from their BlackBerry. So if there's anything you're not sure about, if there's anything you'd like your BlackBerry to do and you just haven't figured out how to do it, then hop onto the blog and shoot us a question and we can produce a video for you. Thanks very much for listening.